What's up, Mortgage Coach community? I am sitting down with Todd Ballenger. To me, one of the brightest minds in mortgage, always thinking about where the puck is going. He's not quite a futurist, although he really is a futurist. I don't know, what do you think? Should we start calling you Todd Ballenger the futurist?
I tell my kids I'm from the future.
Yeah, right, that works. So for any new loan officers, this guy has been innovating in the mortgage space since 2000. When did you have mortgage.com with
Well, I started in 1992 was my first year in the business, and then we did mortgage.com was 1997.
Okay, so back when the .com was going on, and Todd and I have always been just mortgage nerd buddies. He's always understood the value of Mortgage Coach and advice. He's always understood the value of advice when it comes to liability management. He is the founder of Certified Liability Advisor, CLA. So check that out if you want to be a certified liability advisor. He is a professor at the University of North Carolina. Is that like in the entrepreneurship program?
Entrepreneurship, business, and then the honors program, where we work with the top 8% of the students kind of get pulled into this honors program for special kind of development.
Very cool. And he's an entrepreneur. So Todd and I have been talking a lot about where the puck is going. He's someone that when I wrote the article, the 6 megatrends of $100 million producers, which I'll put a link down below. He's someone that I'm like, hey, Todd, what are your thoughts on this? What am I missing? We always collaborate with this, whole chat GHT came out. I'm calling Todd, what do you know about this? What are your thoughts? And so he's prepared some ideas that he wants to brief the mortgage industry. What you're going to hear is going to be valuable to the C-suite. It's going to be valuable to regional leaders, and guys, it's valuable to loan officers. So if you want to win in the future and make it a competitive advantage today, like, tune in. So Todd, walk us through your thoughts and frame this however you want.
All right, man. I'm going to share my screen. I put together kind of a presentation to walk you through some thinking and thoughts. And one of the first things that I want to just throw out there is I have a pet peeve when people say that I'm going to do a virtual meeting versus a real meeting. We're having a real meeting right now, Dave. Wouldn't you agree? I mean, we're human. We're having a real meeting. And
time out. I want to insert that. I want to tie this back to one of the 6 megatrends. Okay. And one of the 6 megatrends, I think it's number 3, is the real world has been redefined. So go back and check that out. But yeah, couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah, and so the idea that it's artificial intelligence, I like to say it's AI, it's additional intelligence. And this is about human augmentation in the sense that, hey, we're both wearing glasses, right? Glasses at one point were pretty cutting edge technology, and now we take them for granted. But if you want to see, it's an unfair advantage. And we're very similar, I believe, now in this sort of stage like we were back in 1991, 2, and 3 with Mosaic and the first internet, and we were moving off of the Prodigy. And this human augmentation and using tools is going to change the way that we work. And I'm going to jump to the punchline for a minute, because we're going to come back and show you some real examples and stuff. But I'm going to give you the summary and then back into the sort of the proof, as we say. In your past, your skill level of competency, let's just say with writing and design as one example, was a function of how proficient you become in writing or how good you become at design. And that will still be the case unless you understand that the bar is being completely raised to a level of disruption where if you'll learn how to use basic tools, you will write as well as the artificial or the additional intelligence can write for you, or as well as it can design a PowerPoint or design a construct. And so there's going to be a sort of a breakaway. In a way, the top producers and the people that start to understand this technology are going to be able to either do 2 things: do more with less, meaning they do the same stuff they were doing today in a fraction of the time, or they're just going to be able to do more actual productivity in the same amount of time. And what I kind of want to share with you is some of the foundational stuff that's happening with this, some examples of tools that I think you should go check out. And then I want to go in and let's just show in real time what some of this stuff can do right now. Like, what are practical, real world uses that people could begin? Because I want people to start exploring this, because the lending industry tends to be behind the financial services and other industries a lot of times, and that's sort of starting to shift. I'd like to see the lending industry kind of get on the front edge of this curve here, because it's going to be mind blowing what's going to happen the next couple of years. So I'll share a few favorite tools. Jump in anytime with questions, Dave. And most everyone is familiar with the concept of artificial intelligence or additional intelligence. But if you sit here and read this definition, and I won't read it out loud, you can kind of scan through it. The first point I want to make is that I could have researched artificial intelligence, thought about it. I could have constructed an outline or a summary of what it is, but I simply went to an AI tool, put the question in, and this was the response on the right that I got. So I was immediately able to paste this in. Now, I could tweak it and edit it, which I chose not to do, but this took me about 5 seconds to not only source the information, to put it into a format that's pretty well written. And where this can really come into play is I went in, for example, and typed in a question: how can lenders use artificial intelligence? And immediately the AI came back with credit risk analysis, fraud detection, personalized lending, automated loan origination, customer service, debt collection. And so we have to start, asking, okay, maybe a third of these are really good. Maybe all of them are really good ideas. But if I was starting to do something here and ask a question, what happens when I can leapfrog into using AI in a way that's completely different than what I may traditionally start? Blog posts, FAQs for my website, things like that. And we're going to go through in a minute. We're going to go through and ask the AI questions, and I want to see how it starts to learn and how it changes as we ask it different questions. It's learning from us as we ask it things, because it starts to realize who we are and what we're asking about and what we're interested in. Sound fair so far?
Digging it.
All right.
Digging it.
So,
and by the way, guys, I do want you to share. I want this to be a community. Share tools that you're using under these categories. I know I don't remember if it was a year ago or how long ago it was when I started talking about Jarvis AI. And I know there are hundreds of mortgage coaches that are using Jarvis AI to write. I use it. I have a membership of it that I pay for. If anybody wants that, I'll put a link to it down below. But I want to get the whole community. Like, think of Todd as our professor. He's put a lot of thought into this. He's going to share some big concepts. He's going to give us some ideas. But guys, let's come together. If you are a mortgage coach, and if you believe what I believe, we can be the most valuable advisors to consumers to build wealth with real estate. We need to use all the different technologies that make us better, that make us more efficient. So I want to hear from everybody. All right, Todd, keep going.
Absolutely. I love it. And you go to a realtor and show them how to completely rewrite their listings in a professional manner that uses a voice that is more compelling. And these are the kind of things that you could teach other people to use very, very quickly. And, a lot of times when I first start talking about this with people, they'll say, God, I don't want to learn how to use this. And it's like, if I invest an hour to learn to use something that now gives me a 10x return in perpetuity, that's a pretty good investment. So you got to think about with some of these things, are you willing to invest a little bit of time to learn? Because this is all about leverage. I mean, these are incredibly powerful tools. I have, we're talking about Chrome extensions, Text Cortex, Grammarly, Quillbot. They're all on my system now, and they're popping up and making recommendations throughout the day for me to clarify what I'm saying or complete my entire sentence. And to me, again, these create a completely unfair advantage for you once you learn how to use them. So just with chat, GPT, which Dave mentioned earlier, and we'll go there and we're going to play with this one because this is sort of foundationally the mother of AI. It was a heavily invested company by Elon Musk and others. Microsoft just committed $10 billion to ChatGPT to incorporate this into Microsoft Office and their search engines because they want to bring this sort of neural language processing right into what we're doing. But you can write Twitter. You can do blog posts, novels, interviews. You can develop games and actual coding. We'll write a software for a calculator and show it in 5 seconds, Dave. It'll blow your mind if you haven't seen some of that kind of stuff. Writing style transformation. You've written something. You say, please simplify this. Please make this more casual. Please make this more compelling. Just those kinds of prompts can completely change the way you write. And in some cases, like we were just showing some people earlier in a coaching group that I'm in, how they go into a Spanish version and other versions of their site almost instantaneously to do something they could never do before. But there's 4 categories I'm interested in. The biggest one is writing, because we use it so much in our communication. And these are some of my favorite. And they start off broadly like ChatGPT. It's now Jasper. It was Jarvis. And Dave was mentioning that they just changed their name recently. They're the 800-pound gorilla in sort of the writing, but it's all based on ChatGPT. You've got Notion, Grammarly, Quillbot, Copy AI, and some of these others. And you'll see lots of niche kind of products in AI coming up. Like if you want to write a great headline or a great email subject, Microcopy is fantastic for that. If you want to take something you've already written yourself and make it really simple, Hemingway is a wonderful tool. Drop it in there and simplify it. If you want to see what people are reading right now and what search engines are optimizing, hey, there's an AI that's going out there and looking to see what people are reading right now. So maybe you write a whole page and you want to show it in a paragraph. You can do that with summary because it'll batch things into small links so they only show little bits and pieces. So again, we're going to look at some real world examples, but I would recommend, again, I've kind of priorities top to bottom. If you only do one thing, you got to get involved with ChatGPT to understand how it works. If you're really writing a lot, Jasper AI is really powerful. I recommend everyone have Grammarly and Quillbot. Those 2 you just got to have on your system because they're going to pop up and make recommendations throughout the day when you're writing. Okay.
So real quick, I want to give a couple notes because I don't know how, it's got to be a long time. I can't remember what grade. I think when my son was in 5th grade, his English teacher recommended to our family Grammarly, and Jack's going to be 21 in a couple of months. So it was a long time ago. Yeah. Grammarly has been one of my, most important, just those cool tools that I've used for a long, long time. I'm a power user of it. I can't, it's just a must have for every family. And, especially for people like me. And then Jasper is something that I was an early adopter of. In fact, I'm going to put a link that gives, that you guys can sign up for it. I do think I get something. I don't know what it is, but it's some type of an affiliate link. So just FYI, I don't have quote unquote a financial interest in the company, although I wish I did. But there is a little, I get a bag of rice every time you sign up. And I do use it. I am an advocate. And I do know the ChatGPT is something I'm studying, learning, I'm playing with right now. So just wanted to put a little color. And remember, guys, what you use, put it down below. Hey, by the way, Todd, I did sign up for the premium version of Hemingway, and but I don't use it that much. What's your take on that? Like how important is Hemingway?
I use the free versions of most of these, and a lot of them have workarounds, like they'll have a word limit. So it's annoying. You might have to post 3 or 4 things in and copy and paste. If you use it a lot, it'll start to pay off to do the premium version. But, Jasper, Jasper now has a summarized version of their bot, which actually does a lot of the same stuff as Hemingway. They're also doing a Dolly and Midjourney image integration where you can now actually incorporate writing and imagery in Jasper. So again, it's trying to be, but I'll tell you, Notion is one to watch. They are incorporating. So if you think of Notes, if you've ever used Notes or what's the old tool with the elephant on it? I used to use it all the time. But writing and business productivity and tasks and sort of an operating system that thinks and works with you. Notion is one that I'm kind of watching pretty closely because they're doing some really, really neat stuff. But I think play with the free version of these if you can. Jasper no longer has a free version; you got to go all in. But
Well, I
start with
just
some
gave
of
you
the
guys
other.
a 5-day free trial,
Yeah,
so check out the
awesome.
link, get 5 days free. All right, what do
Awesome.
we got next?
All right. So next would be like, images. And again, so OpenAI, which is also the developer of ChatGPT, developed DALL-E 2. It's sort of the godfather of image creation. And behind that is Midjourney. And then you've got these classics like Visme and Canva that have been around for a while, but they're now integrating AI. So like with Canva, you can literally say, build me a website, or as you're typing up or creating an image post for Facebook or Instagram, it will actually go to DALL-E and create an image for you. And I'll show you an example of that in a minute. But you're starting to see these really, really cool integrations where existing technologies are integrating. And you want to do a PowerPoint and have most of the work done for you. Beautiful AI will design your PowerPoint, and as you're working on a PowerPoint, it will develop ideas and prompt for images and things like that. So a lot of these, some of these are fun. I tell you, one of my favorites is MyHeritage. If you haven't played with this, Dave, you can go and put 12 photos of your family member in there, and it creates a composite, and it will show you their history from basically a caveman to the present day in every age. So there's a picture of them as a Roman emperor. There's a picture of your son as a gladiator. There's a picture of your son as a Napoleon era French soldier. A picture of them in World War as a Civil War. It's like it goes through every possible genre and maps the changing of it. That kind of stuff is just fascinating. But some of these are just fun. Synesthesia, create avatars that speak your content. If you want to make your site more engaging, update your profile pic on LinkedIn. Most of these I'd play with. If you only do one or two, I'd learn a little bit about DALL-E 2 and Midjourney, and much like Jasper, I'd have a Visme or a Canva, one of those two that you're using as your suite for both AI and ongoing data and engagement. And now, these are niche productivity websites. Think of this as like a Rolodex that I'm building out, and these are things I've used before. And again, we'll take the list that you're sending in, we can add to this. But some of these are just really cool. Making an avatar of yourself or something, using a note taker that you send into a Zoom that you can't be at your company, and you get a nice transcript with a summary of notes for the entire meeting that you can read in just a couple of minutes.
Hey, real quick, you don't have them on your list. I use Otter. Are you familiar with Otter?
I am, but I haven't used it. But I will add it to the list because I know several people use it for note taking and stuff.
Otter.ai, guys. I am a daily user of that for note taking. A lot of the interviews I'll do that I'm recording, I'll have an Otter transcript going, but it just kind of like helps me, go back and what did he say? And so I'm a big Otter fan. I use it daily. FYI, Otter.ai.
Yeah, it's funny. Some of our coaching classes, people are late; they can't come. I'll show that thing.
It's like $10 a month.
Yeah,
it's like $10 a month, and it's all you can translate, and it's accurate. And okay, for all you sales managers out there, it will tell you your talk time. So, like, let's say you're on a call with 3 other people. You get to see what percentage of the time you talk. It'll say party A, party B. It's pretty slick. So let me know. Remember, community. Let's get better. Let's learn together. And it looks like we taught the professor something today.
Yeah, I love it. I've forgotten about that. There's so many that they're probably out there that we can add to this list. But some of these are kind of like just when you need them. Like you got a real estate listing or a family photo. I love Magic Eraser. It'll go in there and you can remove any image just like that from the thing. Or somebody's like Excalibur will do a mind map generator. Or if you got anything you want to do with a PDF, making it or creating it or expanding it or packaging it up, these are really cool. And some of these just, they'll go out and do really interesting things like remove any audio from a soundtrack. You want the guitar removed, you want the voice removed, you want to filter out some noise and stuff like that. These are fantastic kind of productivity tools. And the other sort of extension tools that I really love are the Chrome type extensions. This is one that I use a lot. It's called TextBlaze. Think about anything that you've ever typed twice or something that's very similar. You can go in and create it and create a #1 And then anywhere you're typing an email or another document, I hit #1 and everything that's there, it just shows up, right? So you're blazing through templates and text stuff, gamifying stuff. I use Momentum as my screen now. It zens out your dashboard. It gives you one picture and a key focus for the day. You know, Swift Read, you can read articles one word at a time. Speed reads it to you. It's astonishing when you see some of this stuff. Turn any website into a PDF. These are just tools that once you get them, and again, a lot of these tools have Chrome extensions. So that's where like Quillbot and Grammarly and things, they'll once you install them, they'll show up in your extensions and they'll just pop up when you need them. Okay.
Yeah, and guys, I use a Mac, and Grammarly has a great desktop app. Make sure you use that, and a day doesn't go by, you know, where Grammarly doesn't get used multiple times.
So we'll keep adding
you know
to this.
Yeah. Why I quit using Hemingway, because I used to use Hemingway to like kind of simplify things and tone, and Grammarly added a lot of those features. They didn't call it Hemingway, but I just realized they pretty much the same type of value I was getting from Hemingway I got from Grammarly, and that's when I stopped using it. Just FYI.
Oh yeah, you know, it's the classic, you know, you got to be the top 1 or 2 to really make it. So I'm already seeing some of the players that are realizing Jasper or Grammarly or whatever's getting those top 2 spots. They're starting to really kind of niche out into, you know, just very specific, unique kind of practical, like blog posts or SEO. One of them, when you write, it'll take your article, it'll score it on SEO, and it'll rescore it and tell you what to change in your article to get, you know, great searching. That's cool stuff.
Hey Todd, one other thing.
Yeah.
The Jasper guys are doing their first event on the 14th, February 14th in San Francisco. And I'm seriously considering attending that just as a nerd. I don't know if that's something you'd consider doing, but I'm very curious about all this. And I think they're capping it at 1,000 people. So 1,000 nerds interested in optimizing yourself in AI sounds like a fun place for us. Any chance they can get out there?
Absolutely, man. It's like, I find this stuff to be so interesting. Again, if you think about the leverage that you get from learning some of these basic tools, the ability to, for example, never type the same thing over and over again, or have something that's constantly, like you can see right here, even as I'm about to type into, say, Chat GPT, I've got Quillbot here. It'll help me say it better if I need to, right? So these things are popping
What is
up.
that again? What's that? You got that?
That's Quillbot. That's one of my favorite. It's a rewrite tool, and then I've got Text Cortex here, which is another one. It's like you can open up your creator suite and you can pick from what you want to do, and I can just drop something I wrote in or an email, and I click create, and it'll give me all these different ways to redo it.
You've upgraded me. You've upgraded me already. So give us some ideas. I got to wrap this up in like 7 minutes.
Okay, all right. So let's play around with sort of reality. I'm going to start off with just one, like, it might seem like, okay, what is Mortgage Coach? Have you done this, Dave, to see what it says?
No, I don't know.
Let's see what happens.
What? Wow.
Would you say that's somewhat accurate? I mean, in terms of what you do?
Wow. No. Yeah, it is.
Let's try it. How is Mortgage Coach different from Excel?
This is phenomenal. Let's come up. I don't know if you have, I don't know if you already did this, and so you knew how on point and valuable this would be. But I also know, given this is, you know, the Mortgage Coach marketing team is going to dig this. But I also want to give loan officers, like, what are some things that if you were a loan officer in the market today that you'd put in here, Todd?
All right. How about what should a consumer know before they work with a lender? Top 10 questions.
Oh my God. By the way, after this, before we run out of time, I want to do what is sales boomerang. I want to see what that comes up with. But and I also want to do what's a total cost analysis. I'm just having fun here. But let's do the boomerang after we get. So think about this, guys. This is your digital writing assistant. Now, a couple points I want to make, because I did a call with Justin Tucker the other day. The loan officers and the mortgage professionals, the mortgage coaches that are strategic thinkers that know what questions to ask, they know how to put context around this, they're going to win most. But this is a fantastic assistant. And even if you have a consultant, this is going to help make you and your writer better. This is fantastic.
So, and again, the practical applications of this, and this is where, again, once you start playing around with it, I can say, rewrite number 10. Now, imagine you're a loan officer and you've already got a lot of content on your site, right? You could paste it in and say, write it in Spanish, write it in French. I can say, rewrite 10 in Spanish. And now I can have everything on my site in different languages. If I could have a Spanish version of my site, all I'm doing is having it take all the existing content and put that into Spanish. But if you're thinking about a blog post or writing on a topic or something, this is really cool. And one thing I'll point out is this is current through 2021. So they have a 1-year lag on this. So if I say, what are interest rates? It's probably going to say something like, well, I can't tell you what those are, right? So it's giving me a definition of interest rates, which is still very valuable, but it's not going to tell me what the actual interest rates are because it doesn't know, because everything is indexed from 12 months ago. It creates a buffer for it to go through and do all the work it's doing. But again, it's giving us a pretty clear and pretty great little definition here of interest rates. And if I was about to put something on my website as an FAQ, and like you said, Dave, I could think about these questions, I could get some really great starting points where I'm editing the last 5 or 10% of this. But a lot of people don't even realize, write an HTML calculator for mortgage payment. I can take things like this and it will write all the code, and I've got a mortgage calculator I can go put on my website. I can build spreadsheets. I can say, create a simple spreadsheet for a mortgage payment, and it will create all of the code and content for me to put into Excel for that. So it's not only thinking and analyzing, but it's out there looking and learning, and the ability to write source code for different things is amazing. But I'll show you one of my favorites, and I use this a lot. Don't tell anyone in my current work. It's learning from us and what we've been doing so far, just in this one example, right? So here it's writing all this code for a calculator. So I'm going to ask it a question. Write an email to a client apologizing for an error. All right. So contextually, that doesn't tell you a whole lot, does it?
No.
Just saying, write an email. Now think about this. You just had something happen on a loan, and you're like, I need to write this client a letter. If you're like me, I'm like, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. It's not going to be necessarily the best thing in the world, especially if you're frustrated. So I'm going to type this in, see what it does.
Amazing.
So now I could copy and paste this in, I could edit it out there, but contextually, it's going to change that wording a little bit. And I could say, this is really good. and look, it even gives you advice at the bottom. It's important to address the issue, take responsibility, offer a clear, sincere apology, and it's important, blah, blah, blah. So it's just, again, this is just data that it's pulling and synthesizing into stuff. But if I was going to write a client letter, I can tell you that's probably already better than what I would have started with, but I can copy and paste, and I can start working from this as my template and my draft. And what if it was a Spanish customer? How would they feel if their native tongue was Spanish and you send them this letter in this way, right? I mean, again, these kinds of things are things that would be, nearly impossible for us to take the time to want to do that, or even to think about how to do that, right? So you got an event coming up. You're about to do an event for a group of realtors. I've been astonished with some of the outline an event for realtors to learn more about mortgage, or how about this, about buying a first, let's say, do an event for consumers to learn more about buying a first home. So you're thinking about doing a little event, you don't even have an outline for it or whatever. I'll let it finish up here. It's just about done. Create an event and then we'll stop. But you can start to see the implications of how this can become sort of literally, it's an additional intelligence for you. It's not artificial, it's real intelligence that you can use and incorporate into your business on a day-to-day basis. And the more you play around with it, the more comfortable you'll start to get with it. So it's learning right now. But if you were about to do a workshop for first-time home buyers, wouldn't it be cool to just be able to ask a question, get something like this back, and start working from this as an outline? You add your own flavor, you add your own imagery that you may also steal. And while this is writing, like I went over to Dolly a second ago and I said, create a picture of a financial advisor talking to a client. And this is what I got back, right? So this never existed. It never existed before this prompt, but I can put this into a blog post or use it in an article. And again, this was created by AI based on simply a prompt. And right now, my additional intelligence is working on an outline that I could copy and paste and send to a realtor and say, hey, what do you think? Would this be a good outline for a meeting?
I love it. So Todd, stop sharing your screen.
Yep.
We do got to wrap.
Yep.
First of all, thank you so much for putting this together. I know I'm going to get requests for the slides. Are you okay sharing those slides with me? And
yeah, I'll send you a PDF after we're done. We can post it up. And then what I'd like to do is if people respond, we'll continue to build it and update it. And then, we could talk more about just practical use applications for this, because there's just a lot of different ways you could save yourself. If you save yourself a half hour a day in just repetitive tasks, that's a couple hours a week. I mean, that's real money.
Yeah, no, hey, you can save yourself 15 minutes a day. If you can communicate more effectively and better, you can scale your business, guys. So let's all get better together. Todd, what's your blog for everyone? You've got one of the, not just best blogs in mortgage, but one of the best blogs in financial literacy in America. What is it?
Hey, thanks, man. Just go to barsmartuniversity.com. And that's our website, and you can do /blog, or it's right on the main page. So go to barsmartuniversity.com/blog, or just go to the website and you can see blog up at the top. You can subscribe, and I usually post 2 or 3 times a week.
It's one of my reads. Whenever something comes out, I always read it, scan it. I use it all the time in presentations. It makes me a better leader, a better advisor with my role at Mortgage Coach. So Todd, thank you very much, brother. I look forward to the next one. Shoot me the slides. Guys, this is a wrap. Hopefully you got value, and I look forward to hearing the conversation in comments. Take care, everybody.